Howdy folks, I'm Powerful Phoenix, proudly preening pyrogenic plumage.
I'm Amber.
And here are more flame feathers for us to preen ourselves from or on. I don't know. Whatever birds do. We're bird-like. Let's get started. We're about to burn everything down, only to rise again. Alright folks, then our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? For dog sitting for my boss and saying no to her husband's friend crashing at the house. Basically, my boss asked if I could dog sit for her and her husband while they're away on vacation. I'm a 21-year-old female, and my boss is probably in her 50s, as is her husband. I stayed at their house while I watched him for almost 2 weeks. I didn't have any problem with the arrangements until the first night that they were gone. I got a text from her asking if I minded if a man that her husband used to be in a band with crashed in the basement while I was there. She said that I'll barely see him, and that he stayed there before when he needed a place to crash. But she showed me the downstairs, and it's not like there's a bathroom down there, or even a bed. Not that it matters, I guess. Maybe there's a blow-up mattress, or something like that. But the only door the basement has is inside the house, and just around the corner of the bathroom that I'm staying in. No locks inside either. I just felt uneasy about it, and was trying to figure out what to say, and she told me, unless it makes me uncomfortable. I tried to be honest and say that it's nothing against this guy, but having never met him, I don't think that I would be comfortable essentially having a man that I didn't know in the house, but if it's too hard for him to find other accommodations, I guess it can work out. She told me that it's fine and that he'll figure something else out, but her texts were really short and I get the feeling that she's mad at me. I kind of feel like I'm the jerk because this guy is obviously someone that she knows, and I probably offended her / made things difficult for him. But the whole thing would have been really out of my comfort zone too. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. This was not part of the original agreement, and it's a pretty big imposition of the boss to be asking this in the first place, and there's a definite power imbalance. And I don't like the way she's like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be crashing there, unless it makes you uncomfortable. There's like that kind of like OP needs to say yes in that, and that feels pretty icky. So yeah, I don't think you were in the wrong, OP.
Yeah, I actually am of the opinion that it was pretty inappropriate for the boss to even ask this. I don't think that they should have. I think they should have known that this was a bit too much of an imposition. The OP's already doing them a huge favor by dog sitting, and now they want to throw a random guy in there. I mean, this looks very sus, right? I mean, you have to look at the optics of this, and it doesn't look good for the boss, right? I mean, it almost looks like she's trying to set OP up with this guy, right? And we don't know if he's dangerous. We don't know what he's capable of. You know, all we know is that he's a random stranger who needs places to crash pretty regularly, right? And not that that makes him have a higher proclivity towards crime or anything like that. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying that this is somebody who OP doesn't know. They're a stranger, and I don't blame OP at all for being uncomfortable with that. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Tremble Like Flower says, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and wonder out loud why the freeloader isn't dog sitting. And OP replies, I feel stupid for not asking that now, but it didn't occur to me. And Tremble Like a Flower replies, they would not be trying to set you two up, would they? And OP replies, set us up like to meet or something? I don't think so. It was in the evening that she texted that I got the impression that it was a last moment thing for her. I mean, wouldn't, if you were trying to set somebody up, make it seem like a last moment type of thing? And Ender RPM says, not the jerk, as a musician myself, there's a non-zero chance that dude was drunk, high, or unable to get back to his own house due to his impairment. No way I'm taking a chance of that, like 40s or 50s dude doing something stupid around my 21-year-old employee off hours in my house. And OP replied, that's what weirded me out the most is that she asked this towards the evening, so I wondered why last minute. Like she was settling down at the time. Oh, and I also kind of want to point out that OP is technically right now doing a form of employment in their house, and that could very well make them liable, the homeowners liable for damages that would be to occur to OP if something were to happen to them, right? So that would probably be like a not a good situation for them if OP got hurt, right? They could get sued. And I have Boxer Dog says, not the jerk, she's probably not mad. She probably just has a more succinct writing style. You're wordy in your writing and are taking her brevity for something else. You're being completely reasonable for not wanting to have a strange man there. And OP replies, yeah, I get really anxious about the boss/employee interactions. I might just be making it up in my head. I'll see how she acts towards me once they're back from vacation and go from there. I was taken aback by her asking this and wasn't the best at communicating properly. A phone call would have been better, but also I think that it would have been harder saying no rather than just texting. Safe to say that I will not be dog sitting again. I see that this was a bad idea all around. I thought the extra cash would be worth it. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Will I be a jerk if I locked my roommate out all night because he refuses to get a new key to the apartment? I'm a 22-year-old female and I live with my ex, a 21-year-old male. We moved in together in February but broke up shortly afterwards because he was a lot different to live with compared to how he would just visit each other's apartment beforehand. Well, around March or April, his key broke. Thankfully, it didn't get stuck in the lock and we have both pieces of the key. Also, it shouldn't cost anything to let the rental company know and get a new key because the key wasn't lost, meaning that they didn't have to rekey the whole apartment. I let him know that it was his responsibility because it was his key. He has not done anything to contact the rental company. He refuses to call the business due to anxiety and just hasn't contacted them through email or the service portal on the website. We live in a safe neighborhood, but I prefer to lock the doors, especially at night, because you never know. Over summer, I worked at an internship and mainly lived in another city. So I was nice and I gave him my key during that time. Now that I'm back at home, I took my key back and I decided that I was done catering to him. In the 4 weeks that I've been back, I've locked him out at least 6 times. I lock the door at night around 9 p.m. after I get home from work, and when I leave the apartment, whether he's there or not. I've been woken up past midnight a few occasions because he was locked out while on a date. I thought that if I was more serious about the consequences of him not getting a new key, then he would finally just do it. I'm now debating keeping him locked out the whole night and refusing to wake up and let him in. He knows that I'm upset about this, and all of my friends agree that it might be a push that he needs to be a responsible adult, but I honestly feel bad about going through with it. It's still warm outside, so staying out in this weather isn't an issue. His parents also live an hour away, so it's not like he has nowhere to stay if I do this. I've honestly struggled with standing my ground my whole life, and I can't tell if this would be an overreaction and going too far. At the same time, I'm sick and tired of not locking the door at night or when no one is home. I don't think that it's my responsibility to cater to his schedule and disrupt my own whenever he needs to be let into the apartment. Will I be the jerk? Edit, because a lot of people are asking, no, he can't go to the hardware store and make a new key. In our lease, we're not allowed to make our own copies, but new keys are maybe $10 from the company. It's just a safety thing, but it's legally binding. Edit 2, this blew up a lot. Thank you for the advice. I'm going to grow a backbone now, and I'll let him know tonight that I'm locking the door at 9:30 p.m. sharp every night and will no longer lose sleep over him. I won't leave my classes early for him, and I won't let him pick up the key from me either. I'll update if something significant happens. It's been too long, and my friend's calling me dumb for continuing to let him walk all over me. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk, OP. I'm glad that OP is going to be putting her foot down because he has made absolutely no effort to
Yeah.
resolve the situation and has no problem inconveniencing OP at every turn.
Well, and I mean, I get anxiety, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I understand, it can be difficult, and sometimes it can be hard to get past anxiety to do something like this, but he has a lot of other options that he's not doing, right? He has email, he has the service portal, so it just even goes beyond, anxiety at this point in time and seems more like it might just even be laziness, right?
Mhm.
If he even felt guilt about this, but it doesn't even look like he feels guilt about it, right?
Well, that's it. It seems like he's puts absolutely no effort in and has absolutely no care for the outcome it has on others. He's not trying to work with OP or anything.
Yeah. So I don't think that OP would be wrong to set a strict schedule, and say if you're not back by this time, I'm not letting you in. And I mean, again, like, this is a matter of him not being responsible, and I don't think that OP can hold themselves, or feel guilty for that.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm considering leaving my husband over keeping a lock on a door and refusing to open it. Hi everyone. Very sad to be posting this, but I'm a 29-year-old female and I'm considering separating from my husband, a 33-year-old male of 5 years, over a big issue that we just had a couple of days ago. My husband has always cared about his things, and he puts all of his valuables in his office where he works remotely 3 days a week. He put a lock on the outside of the door 6 months ago to supposedly keep his things safe from our destructive toddler. I let it go, but I found it a bit odd since the key is usually nowhere to be found. Anyways, I recently went in the office to get our bird's perch out of his room, and he was hovering and acting really suspicious. He defensively said, "What do you need in there?" And I said, "The bird's perch," but then instantly felt that he was hiding something from me. I also noticed that he locked the door after that. After we put our toddler to sleep, I told him that I needed to go into the room to change the sheets on our guest mattress because we have visitors soon. He was acting defensive again and said that he would do it at another time. That is when I said, "What are you hiding in there? You're getting really defensive, and it's weird that I'm locked out of a space in my own home and have to ask permission to enter." He got more defensive until I eventually said that you need to unlock the door and let me see what's in there because you're hiding something. Well, long story short, he admitted to hiding weed in the room and playing video games when I go to sleep, but he refused to open the door. I told him that I'm going to sit by the door until he unlocks it because I think that he's hiding something worse since those things aren't that big of a deal. You guys, he literally refused. I tried begging, I tried getting the lock open. I tried everything that I could think of. Not only would he not unlock the door, but he was gaslighting me the entire time, telling me that I'm being ridiculous and that it must be my pregnancy hormones, thinking that there's something else in there. He said that if he opens the door, that he would be giving into my pushiness. He also kept touching my leg and telling me that he was sorry that I was going through this, like I was making this all up in my head. Unfortunately, I got too tired around 2 a.m. to keep in mind that I'm pregnant, having to deal with this, and I told him that I'm going to go to sleep and whatever he's hiding in there he can get rid of in the morning. But I'm done. In the morning, the room was perfectly staged with a little weed pen out and a switch game. He has changed the lock on the door to a normal one that only locks when someone is in the room, but still seems to see no problem with what he's done. He's still adamant that it's perfectly normal to lock a door from the outside if you have important things in there. He also said that there was nothing else in there, and that he couldn't, for the life of him, let me in after I said that we needed to go through his stuff. He said that it was controlling behavior, and giving in would be saying that it would be okay. I guess what I'm asking is this normal to put a lock on an office door, even on the outside? Would a separation be the next best step? I have a toddler and a baby coming. I really don't want to have to do this alone if I don't need to. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, I would go for that separation. This has all kinds of, there's something not right here written all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he clearly staged the situation. That was not what he was hiding, and you have absolutely no idea what he's hiding. And he had plenty of time to scrub all traces of whatever it was, so you're never going to get the full truth out of this man.
Yeah.
And the way he, manipulated and gaslit OP, I wouldn't trust him with anything at that point in time.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I feel really bad for OP in this situation because this is a horrible way of finding out your partner's pretty shady, right? He's being very, very suspect here, and it only lends to the imagination. If it was really just a weed pen, then he could have just said, "I was just really embarrassed. I didn't want you to find out about my weed pen. Why don't we go on in there and I'll show you," right? And that probably would have put her mind to rest. But where he's like, "If I let you in now, then it would be giving into your stuff." Look, the police are allowed to enter your house if they have reasonable suspicion, right? OP, in this particular case, has reasonable suspicion that there is something weird going on. And I think when you have reasonable suspicion about something, maybe even something illegal, that you have a right as a partner to go through your partner's stuff, right? And that's really what this boils down to. Yeah, there should definitely be privacy in a relationship, but if there is something that comes across as really suspicious or something else, then I think at that point in time, you as a partner have the right to go through your partner's stuff, right?
Well, and the trust is completely broken now too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see it getting rebuilt anytime soon because, again, he never acknowledged that he did anything wrong. He's still insisting he has done nothing wrong, and just trying to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're going through this," and trying to convince Opie that she's crazy.
Yeah, and that's just not good. That's not good at all. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What did the vampiric vegetables say to gain entry?
Oh, they said, blah, blah, blah. I'm a vampiric vegetable, and I've come to suck your juices. We are sweet and juicy for a reason, because we are vampire carrots and vampire tomatoes and vampire kumquats, and we enjoy sucking the blood out of you humans. We have a lot of hemoglobin in us. We're those new types of plants. Blah, blah, blah.
Let us in. And it's National Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day and also International Chocolate Day.
Ooh, so if you have some kids, let them take over the kitchen. At least for a day. But don't let them put a lock on the door. And what was the other one?
International Chocolate Day.
Oh, if your kids take over the kitchen, they're just going to make chocolate. I'm sorry. That's really all it's going to boil down to. So you get both obligations fulfilled at once.
Yeah, they're going to go eat all the baking chocolate and then realize it probably doesn't taste as good as they thought.
Yeah. They're like, finally, the baking chocolate. My mom never let me eat it. And then they'll take a giant spoonful of it and they'll regret it unless they like it, which in that case, they probably won't regret it. And I have a special guest tea, some red rose tea, just some black tea. So black, red rose tea.
At least it's not rose red tea.
Yes, if it was rose red tea, I would probably be possessed right now. Good to the last drop. Maybe I am possessed.
That would explain a few things.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on, I don't know, kind of creepy things.
If you're confronted with secret locks and gaslighting, it's probably time to get out of there before you end up in a bad situation.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
But the only door, the basement, the only boar in the basement is the one that's trying to escape. And we have to be careful about boars. Boars are coming for us, folks. You have to watch out for them, especially the radioactive boars. You might say, Brian, there are radioactive boars? And I would say, yes, there are radioactive boars. They're running amok across Europe. And they're coming for us, folks. They're coming for us. So watch yourself. The radioactive boars are loose. But they're not going to mutate into like Teenage Mutant Ninja Boars to save us from crime and fight for us. Instead, they're just probably going to try to eat us. I don't know. That's pretty grisly. Maybe that's another cryptid that we can cover. Hey, Amber, put that on the cryptid list, radioactive boars. I'm just delaying the inevitable now because I know that the moment I start reading some more, I'm going to have to redo myself. So I guess let's go ahead and pretend like this clip never happened.